Dr. Jason Fung, author of the Obesity Code, explains that the fastest and most effective way to lose weight is fasting. However, he also points out a difficult reality. Nearly 90% of people over 40 who are overweight struggle to fast for more than a few hours. Attempting something like a 5-day water fast isn't exactly easy. It's challenging, and hunger inevitably sets in. So while recommending fasting sounds simple in theory, putting it into practice is another story.
Many people won't. And even if they do it, they may do it once and then not do it again. So it makes it difficult. It's sort of like if you tell somebody, oh, you should run a marathon, that's great. They may or may not do it though, because it's difficult. So these longer fasts are powerful, but they're not always easy.
Still, that doesn't mean you should give up on such a powerful metabolic tool.
That doesn't mean you should abandon such a powerful metabolic tool. Dr. Jason Fung has actually discovered a way to make fasting not only easier but even enjoyable. The secret isn't about quitting food cold turkey. If you've never paid close attention to your diet and you're carrying significant extra weight, your body simply won't allow you to fast for long stretches. Biologically, it's just not realistic. That's because the body relies on two primary energy reserves: glucose and fat.
It is stored mostly in the liver, and it's stored as a molecule called glycogen, which are long chains of glucose molecules. And it's very easy for the body to link all these glucose molecules up, and when it needs to, it simply takes that glycogen, chops it back up into little molecules of glucose, and sends it back out into the blood. If it still needs energy and there's not enough of the glycogen, then it relies on fat or triglyceride. It's a little harder to get to, but it takes the fat from the fat cells, goes to the liver, where it breaks down this triglyceride into 3 fatty acid chains, as well as a glycerol backbone. And the triglycerides can be used directly by most cells of the body for energy, and the glycerol can be changed into glucose, which supplies energy for the brain.
If your diet has been heavy on carbs and you haven't been paying much attention to what you eat, your body is conditioned to burn glucose, not fat, for energy. That's why, when you suddenly attempt a fast, intense cravings kick in. No matter how strong your willpower is, the urge to eat usually wins. And even if you manage to push through, the fast won't feel effective. Instead, you'll likely feel drained, sluggish, and mentally exhausted because your body isn't yet equipped to fuel itself properly. The experience becomes frustrating and miserable, leaving many people swearing off fasting altogether and falling back into endless workouts and calorie restriction. To prevent this cycle, Dr. Jason Fung advises preparing your body in advance by training it to burn fat for fuel. The best way to do this is by incorporating healthy fats into your meals. Think olive oil, eggs, fatty fish, and avocados. These nutrient-rich foods provide the kind of fuel your body can actually use. Pairing this with a low-carb or ketogenic diet can accelerate the process. Most importantly, treat this as a preparation phase and enjoy it. Don't shock your system or force deprivation. Instead, ease into it and find a rhythm that feels natural.
Body some time to adjust. Remember that when you're fasting, what you're trying to do is get your body to use some of the stores of energy that it's carrying. So, if you have a lot of body fat and you haven't fasted much, your body really doesn't know how to metabolize that fat. It's mostly used to using the food that you're eating. So it can take up to a few weeks to even a few months to get used to the process of not eating so frequently. Your body can use really 2 different types of fuel. Just like a hybrid car, you can use electricity or you can use gas. Your body is much the same. So it can use glucose and it can use fat. If you're eating a typical diet, which is relatively high in carbohydrates, and you're eating all the time, which is sort of the standard way that people eat today, then you're mostly using carbohydrates. However, when you're fasting, once you've gone through those carbohydrates, you need to use body fat, which in scientific terms is called triglycerides. As you get used to using the triglycerides, then your body becomes more efficient at using it. and it feels more natural. So while you're switching over, getting your body used to using fat as a fuel, you might notice that you have less energy, for example. So it does take some time to adjust. An easy way to transition is to first go to a low carbohydrate diet, or a very low one, such as a ketogenic diet. You're eating a lot of dietary fat, and the way that the body metabolizes dietary fat versus body fat is the exact same. So it's an easy transition to go from a low carbohydrate diet and intermittent fasting compared to a relatively high carbohydrate one.
As you transition into full fasting, the toughest obstacle usually isn't physical hunger, it's psychological. Once your body has adapted to burning stored fat for fuel, you're not truly starving. What you're experiencing is habit. For instance, if you typically eat lunch at 2 p.m., your body expects food at that time out of routine, not necessity. That expectation creates the feeling of hunger, even when there's plenty of fat available for energy. Coping with this psychological hunger is where most people struggle, which is why Dr. Fung recommends using drinks to calm it. Water is essential, but green tea and coffee are especially effective because they help suppress appetite. In the early stages, sipping on chicken broth can also help. It fills your stomach and convinces your brain that you've eaten, even though it provides minimal calories and won't interrupt the fat-burning process. In short, the brain gets tricked, the body keeps burning fat, and you stay on track.
Any period you're not eating, but you can still drink fluids, classically fast or water only. But there's many variations that you can use. In fact, you can take a lot of fluids such as green teas, herbal teas, or coffee without sweeteners or sugar or cream, and they have no calories, so they're not really going to break your fast. Because they have no energy, your body is still going to need to use some of those calories. You can also use things that do have a few calories, which is not a true fast, something like bone broth, for example, or a little bit of cream in your coffee, and that's generally okay because the amount is so small that yes, you'll store a few calories for a few minutes, but then you'll go right back to burning them, so you don't have to worry about that.
The last piece of the puzzle is timing. Jumping straight into a 16-hour fast, or worse, a full-day one, is almost guaranteed to end in frustration. That's not weakness, it's simply how the body and mind work. Forcing it only adds stress, which won't make you healthier and certainly won't help you lose weight in a sustainable way. You might see quick results, but they won't last, and you'll likely wind up discouraged. The smarter approach is to start by extending the fast you're already doing overnight while you sleep. Push breakfast back a little later, or have dinner a bit earlier. Once that feels natural, experiment with skipping either breakfast or dinner altogether. Only after you've built comfort with these smaller steps should you progress to longer fasts, such as 16 hours or more. Dr. Fung also emphasizes the importance of distraction during longer fasts. Keep your hands and mind busy, pick up a hobby, dive into a project, or simply go for a walk. Shifting your focus away from food makes the fasting process much easier and far more sustainable.
Stay busy. And that's how you're going to take your mind off of it. So there's lots of things that you can do. You can take a bubble bath, you can listen to music, you can call your parents, you can do some dusting, you can organize your room, you can do some spring cleaning. Exercise is a great way to take your mind off of things because as you start exercising, all the blood goes to your muscles and you stop thinking about it. Especially exercises that are like games, like tennis. You get so engrossed in it that you forget that you didn't eat. And your body is naturally going to reduce that hunger. So try playing a game of pick-up basketball or tennis or badminton or ping pong or something during that time that you would normally eat.
Fasting is simpler than grueling workouts, more effective than counting calories, and far safer and more affordable than drugs like Ozempic or other weight loss medications. The secret lies in starting the right way. Do that, and the results can be nothing short of transformative.